I must not eat vegan teachers biscuits. Piss off. I must.
But the great thing about that, I do have a happy ending for this story, because after that I was able to speak about it, and my colleagues, friends, were just as distraught as I was, and they came to me and they asked me what had happened, and I told them everything, and they were shocked. And one of them recently has contacted me to say that her daughter's gone vegan. So that's really great. And I know lots of them have gone either vegan or vegetarian, or they're at least doing the meat-free Mondays.
Wow.
And a lot of them have contacted me and said, this is because of you, Ruth.
Yeah.
So if it took for me to get fired for that to happen, then for the domino effect to happen as well, for them to be in that position. There's a new head teacher there now, so I'm hoping they might be a bit more liberal, and maybe this can come back into conversation.
You know, it's twisted on so many levels though, isn't it? I mean, that was one hell of a journey that you went through, because you actually, how can I put it? You actually gagged yourself, even though you wanted to speak. Yeah. And I get that you're pretty ashamed that you sort of did that for the sake of, but anybody,
if I had more money, I would not have taken
any
that check.
normal person would have done exactly the same. I remember being at BT and I asked for vegan boots, and I thought, what am I going to do if they don't give me vegan boots? And I'm thinking, do I walk out? Do I just take the leather ones and wear the leather ones and just you know? And but they did. They supplied it with them. But being put in that position in the first place and having to go against your moral values and your ethical values, it's a hard thing to do. And the worry about you know what will happen if I stand up. It's like now at the moment I've got an agent who will, at the drop of a hat, say, Danny, there's an audition in London for a TV ad. Now I don't know what the TV ad is, and normally I get it, but what if I get something? This is what's gone through my mind now. Let me explain this one to you. I know you know what I'm going to say. So I've got this agent, and she knows I'm vegan, but I think she's forgotten along the line, and she sent me a TV ad where I had to pretend to hold a piece of meat up for the audition. I didn't know whether I had to hold a piece of meat in the actual thing, but it was for a supermarket, not for meat, which I'm I'm not sure. I'd have to deeply think about it. But then it got me thinking along these lines. This is it. So I haven't got any money in the bank, right? I mean, I've got a lot of debt. I owe money here. I've got a car on credit. Like everybody, got my mortgage, credit card, all the full Monty. Now, if they come to me and said, Danny, we've got a role and it's McDonald's and it's advertising McDonald's burgers and it's 60 grand, would I do it?
I think that is where it becomes, there's that line, isn't there? That hazy line. And we want to do the best we can do, but we're only human, and we have restrictions. Yeah. And I think that's where people who aren't vegan say, oh, vegans and, you know, their ethics and their principles, and they're so much, they think they're so much better than us. Actually, we're constantly evaluating ourselves, and we're constantly worrying about, are we doing the right thing for ourselves? Are we doing the right things for our family? Are we doing the right things for the animals? I mean, I even said to my daughter the other day, she hates me for it. She hated me at the time. I said, do you know what? Your problems are nothing compared to, there's 60 billion animals being killed every year. And you're moaning about this, just get out my face. And afterwards I thought, what a horrible thing to say. But really, that is at the back of my mind all the time. It's always that. Obviously, I've apologised to her since. She's more special than anything I've ever had in my entire life. She's amazing. But it is that quandary and that conundrum all the time. Would you do it?
So, the 60 grand quandary. Is there a price on me advertising? No, there isn't. No, there isn't. The roundabout sort of things, would I advertise as if it was a vegan wrap for McDonald's, I would advertise the vegan wrap for McDonald's. But we're all put in positions because people have that sort of perception that the vegan lifestyle is perfect, and it's not perfect. It's far from perfect.
We're perfect.
Or that we think we're perfect, and we know we're not perfect. But as far as educating the children, I mean, I was talking with somebody a while ago, and we're born vegan, so when's the prime time to get?
That's just it. Let me just stop you there. We don't need to educate the children. The children know.
Already
Children
know instinctively.
have cuddly cows. They've got cuddly sheep. They've got cuddly monkeys, and these are their friends. They fall asleep with these things at night. When they need comfort, they go and maybe they've got like some kind of stuffed, animal, and they love animals. They're born to love and take care of animals. They know that. If you said to a kid, "Look, here is a cow. Do you want to eat it? Here is a strawberry. Do you want to eat it?" They're going to take the strawberry. They're not going to say, they wouldn't even dream. They wouldn't think that their parents or anybody they know could be so wicked. They wouldn't even conceive that we could even do the things that we do with animal products. Yeah, I'm learning new things every day that shock and horror me. They wouldn't know that in their Haribos there's melted down sinew and bones from animals that make gelatin. They wouldn't know jelly is
crazy, isn't it?
They wouldn't know. They wouldn't even.
Crazy.
Why would they think their parents would do that to them? Why would they think that their parents would, give them chopped up pig and give them as a hot dog and have it at birthdays and as special treats and things? They wouldn't. So we don't need to educate the children.
It's very similar
to
and it's very similar to children aren't born racist.
Yes,
it's another top behaviour.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a little video on this. You can get it there, and I've talked about it, about racism, and I was racist when I was younger, and it was a taught behaviour. It wasn't something. And then when I finally started thinking for myself and started realising and finding my own way in the world, I realised that it was absolute rubbish. So everything we're taught as kids is learned behaviour. Everything we do naturally is natural and how we would have headed in the first place. So it is a time to get to people. Yeah.
So the question you're asking should be, maybe we should just bring that in a different way. Instead of saying when do we get to the children and educate them, instead it's when do we stop the brainwashing from starting.
Yeah, and there the lies
of the problem. So if you look in your early years classrooms, there's farm books in there. There's like books with farmers milking cows in little buckets.
In a happy farm with a happy cow,
And all the mummy cows have got their calves with them.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
No.
It's not normal for that to happen.
I've been on a dairy farm, as you know, and I met the serial dairy TV farmer, and she'd done a nice job of clearing up before I got there. She had like a nice NFU representative hiding behind her all the time to advise her and everything, because she was defending herself, and she was very lucky that the BBC decided to cut it in the parts that they did to stop offending the farmers. And it's like, you know what I mean?
It's like offending the slave trade, slave owners, isn't it? Oh, well, we need our cotton, or we need our slaves, they need to look after us.
The price of cotton's going to go up if we get rid of slaves, for God's sake. And everyone like, oh, what are you on about? I'm going to have to pay more for my shirt. Yeah. Because we've got, and I get it totally.
Every time somebody asks me the question about veganism, I always try and think of what if it was a slave we were talking about. And every time that helps me, like people say about, you won't let non-vegan food in your house. It's like, I'm not letting non-vegan, it's more that I'm not letting dead animals chopped up come into my house. Yeah. And that's where I draw the line. This is my space, and I wouldn't let you bring a slave in the same way.
Can we be a little more pragmatic about it? Now, there's no way you're going to get into schools to do this at the moment. I
like that.
I'm challenging you. Me personally, I do not think you're going to do this, right?
What is it you think I want to do?
I want what you want. I want exactly what you want. I want veganism to be tackled in school at the youngest age possible that they can comprehend.
Can we not put it that way again? I'm sorry, I keep making you change what you're saying.
What I said? What did I say?
Can we not teach speciesism in schools instead?
Can we stop teaching speciesism in schools?
That's what I'd like.
Right. So
just the way we don't teach racism, we make sure that there's pictures when we speak about topics, and we don't talk about firemen, we talk about fire officers, so that the ladies get presented there as well. Where back in the day,
okay, I get
it was
that.
like that. It's the same thing. Yeah. Instead of saying we want to bring veganism in, let's just remove the speciesism. That's what I'd like to do. Okay.
So my point was, I think it's all right. It's not a problem. You keep slapping me in the right way, because I need educating on this, because this is new to me and I've never thought about this until I come across you on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I really need to sort of get a grasp on what you are trying to do and help everybody out there understand what you're trying to do as well, because the biggest obstacle I see you're going to get is the parents.
Yeah.
That and until you get more and more vegan parents who have successfully rearing the kids on a natural diet, I think you're going to have problems.
Therein we've got another problem. I'm completely with what you're saying, and I understand that. I think there needs to be a lot of communication. There needs to be a lot of collaboration amongst professionals. I've done the Cube of Truth, and it works. It's great, and I can do it. It can have other consequences, and it's difficult in other ways, but it's really, really effective. But I'm a teacher. I can use that. And I can use that in the right way. And I think we should be looking at our professions. Like, like vegan athletes, they're using their platform to then endorse veganism.
Do you know, isn't it crazy, Sean, that a teacher who teaches children the truth is not able to teach the children the truth.
It's not on the curriculum, you see.
About where the food comes from.
It's
just when you start looking at it as at what it is,
there's so many strands.
It gets more and more weird. Cool milk, free milk in schools.
Don't even get me started. So, obviously, in my role as a teacher, as a supply teacher, I don't say anything to the children. I just want to get that out there in case anybody thinks I'm brainwashing children or whatever.
So you're not taking them to one side and saying, go vegan, go vegan!
No. But as an observational role, I've noticed that the children who are allergic to dairy, they are excluded unless their parents bring something in for them. But I have friends who have vegan children, and they take in oat milk for their children or rice milk or whatever, and often it comes home again because I'm not having a go at the schools. I know how busy and stressful it is at school. So, a 4-year-old's not going to necessarily remind you, oh, it's milk time, my rice milk's in my bag. So at milk time, it might just get forgotten about.
So they just get excluded, they don't get fed cow's milk?
No, I mean, I don't know if that's happened, I couldn't say.
Right, okay.
But what I'm saying is they're excluded, and also the government. So it's a free incentive. So children who have from poor families, so they're allowed free milk on this program, but they're only allowed cow milk. Now the Vegan Society are trying to address this. I don't know if you want to drop a link below because it might be really interesting for parents who would like to address this, and they're starting a campaign where they want the government to provide other options, plant milk options like oat milk, rice milk, soya milk, there's so many of them. Yeah. So that's what they're trying to achieve.
So is there a link for this, is there?
Yeah, there is a link for that. I can send that to you if you want to.
Okay, and I'll drop it down.
Yeah, because they're trying to tackle it from a governmental level, so that when they offer free milk to children, they also offer plant milk substitutes. Because like I said, it's not just the children who choose not to have it, it's the children who are allergic to it and the vegans as well. And the problem is that the children who are given it, it's kind of like they're forced to have it because the parents are and I was in this position back when my child was 4. I was allowed to have free milk, and I remember saying to my daughter, you will drink your milk, you have to have it, I get it for free, and it's nutritious, it's good for you, it's full of calcium. I know all that to be not true now, but she always used to go, I don't like it, Mum, I'm not having it.
But I mean
children are forced to have it in essence.
I mean, I was forced as a kid, and in summer it had been kept outside. It wasn't kept in a fridge. It was warm and it was disgusting. And it smelt of like God knows what. But there is a little thing in me that thinks that some of the really poor kids who maybe not getting enough nutrition, it could be a blessing in disguise to them. I'm not advocating it.
Right.
But maybe that bit of milk would be the only sort of real quality
purely
food, from a health standard, survival. To me, survival. But apart from that, quite correct.
So why aren't they offering alternatives?
Because dairy is subsidised. That's why it's so cheap.
There we go. You see, and why? Why is it subsidised? It all goes back from after the war, from when during the war times the government asked the farmers to produce more milk. We need more milk because they were drying it, they were making it into milk powder, they were sending it over to the soldiers who needed it because it was desperate times. So they pushed it. So dairy industry exploded because of this, and then everyone came back and the dairy industry, well, you've asked me to do this, and how is it still a knock-on effect from 70 years ago, and it's still that state where we're still subsidising it?
Well, what they do is they say if you grow some of your own food for the cattle, which is it's not perfect because the dairy farmers don't want to grow their own food. They want to import this high grain feed, high nutritious feed, so it gives the best possible and most milk.
And it bulks them up quicker, and they
but
can get more.
if they grow a little bit of crops, because when I went to see that dairy farmer, she said I said, so do you get any subsidies? And she went, yeah, I do get subsidies, but I've got to grow some crops. However, just before that, she said, I can't do anything else but dairy farm because we can't grow anything else on this land. So in like the space of 10 minutes, she'd already said, I'm growing food to get me subsidy, but I can't grow any food on this land. So we brought Joe into the camera because he likes getting on the camera as usual. But we've been talking about my friend Joe here because his dad is vegan and he's brought him up. Did he bring you up vegetarian?
You know, so
did he try bringing you up vegan?
My grandma's dad was an Olympic cyclist and he switched to being vegetarian.
Oh wow!
And then my grandma went to some vegan like charity kind of gathering, and she seen my dad and she's like, "Oh, you do for my son, for my daughter," and then so it's mad how like even like my mum and dad met but they were both vegetarians. So my grandma's side was always vegetarian. My dad had made the move, and then so I've just grown up with my mum in a vegetarian household.
So like we were saying before, Joe is really what you're sort of, alright, he's vegetarian, but it's what you're striving to do is to take away, is that the correct word? Take away the idea that we should eat meat, we should take away this conditioning that we're given to children to eat meat, to eat animal products. And it's worked out for him. He's still alive.
Yeah.
He's got no protein deficiency. He seems pretty sound.
The question
Would you
is,
agree with that?
do you feel you've missed out?
Good question.
No, I don't feel like I've missed out, but there's been times when, you just, because everyone else is doing it, it's kind of like human nature where you just, part of you wants to fit in.
Yeah.
But then it's been so strong in my foundations, like that it's not even ever been a thing for me. But I do remember once at school, I got fish on my plate. I went to the headmaster and I said, "Excuse me, I'm vegetarian." She said, "It's okay, you can eat that." But that's just the way it was. Like, you know what I mean? But obviously, I told Mum,
it's like wafer thin ham. That's vegan wafer thin ham because it's so thin. But I've got a question for you. So you're 33 now. Got your age right. But back in the day when you was like 14, 15, 16, how good would it have been for you to be able to go with your mates to McDonald's or KFC and get a burger with them? How good would that have been?
Yeah, I suppose it could have been cool, but there's normally always been a different option, or I'll be happy.
No,
with
what
chips.
I mean is now there's a vegan burger in KFC and there's a vegan option in Burger King. How cool would that have been back in the day for you to be able to go and get the vegan option in those places?
That's it. No, there was always limited to food and options. Way back in the day, it's just getting more and more options now. But way back then, you go to a restaurant and there'd be like one option for vegetarian.
Exactly. So what I'm trying to get at is there's a lot of infighting amongst vegans at the moment about, we should all boycott KFC because they brought out this burger but they kill millions of chickens, and the same with every other one, Subway and Burger King and all, you know. So that was so good for you to be able to not be excluded by being able to, it would have been good for you, and it's good for you now. And what I'm trying to get at is it a good idea in your eyes to have a vegan option at these big places that do
it is, but
animals?
still, as well as part of me, it's like, no, let's not support them. And are they doing it for the benefit of animals? No, they're doing it for the benefit
because
of
we
the
live in a
profit.
capitalist
Greg's
society.
Greg's profits went through the roof, so they're all thinking, okay, let's cut on. There's a trend going on. So it's not like, still to support KFC, you are supporting the overall. So, but at least there's an option, and there's part of me that wants to support it, so they keep on providing it. But are they just testing it? Like, you want to kind of support that, at least as the option. But
I mean,
if you look at the scale,
we live in a capitalist society, right?
like
Our whole lives are based on profit, and Yeah, sorry, I interrupted there, but this thought is just coming in, and is that everything is involved with making profit, but is there a benefit from these companies being able to make profit from vegan food? And I think personally,
I think it's the way it's going as well. So that's why they're moving with the times, because they've got to.
Because what's the alternative? No options, and how does that help us?
I think there's a lot of infighting in the vegan community about that. Personally, I'm not a huge fan. I'm not going to go running out for it. However, I've got a teenager, and like you were saying about, as a kid, she misses out on these things. And if she goes, she's maybe eating the chips or whatever. And actually, the chips at KFC aren't vegan, so she can't even do that. Sometimes she's just having a soft drink or whatever. So she does feel excluded a lot. So I think it's actually a really good thing. Burger King's slightly different because they cook them on the same griddle, so that's why. And there's a few other burgers out there who do testing on animals, so there's a few things that are actually a bit deeper than that.
Yeah, of course.
But actually going to that establishment, for me personally, I don't see it as any different to going to Tesco or Asda or anywhere else, because they are also paying for the slaughter of animals, and they're also selling it, promoting it, encouraging it, but they also have these vegan products. So in my eyes, I've seen the last 2 years there's been an explosion of vegan products, and that's because we've all behind the scenes been writing to the supermarkets, we've been emailing them, we've been asking every cashier we've seen. I don't know about
there's
you.
a demand
maybe
there.
This is just me, but that's what I've been doing anyway. There is a demand
there. But
so that's
also,
why it's there.
I mean, going back to your education of the, I keep saying it's yours, and as though this is your baby and you're the only person who's thought of this. But back to the idea of educating kids really, really young ties in with this, because they're going to say to you, well, what we're going to eat. And you can say, well, you can just go with your friends. You can go to all these places.
What is a kid going to eat if you put a chicken in the fruit in front of them?
Yeah.
That's always the age-old question, isn't it? Like, what's more natural for the kid to do? He's going to play with the rabbit. He's going to eat the fruit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And do you know what? As somebody who works in education, I've been in the lunchroom many times. I've seen thousands of kids probably eat their dinners, and they all pick at their meat. And it's always the teachers or the dinner time staff walking around saying, make sure you eat your meat first. Make sure you eat all your meat. You have to eat your meat. It's good for you. But actually, it's untrue.
Yeah.
And they don't want to eat the meat.
No.
And the ones that do, like if it's a burger day, they'll eat the burger and they'll all be like...
And do you know something? What's mad is that's probably the most expensive part on the plate. Yet they keep saying, no, I can't go vegan because it's like too expensive to go vegan. No, it's not. All the cheap stuff around your plate is the cheapest
cheap stuff.
stuff.
Is going to cost you your health. It's going to cost you your health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Structure of a meal as well. Meat and two veg.
Meat and two veg, ridiculous, Well, that's appealing to tradition, isn't it? That's a tradition that we've had this.
That's something that's broken down from since I was vegetarian. I don't do that. I just have food.
So what else do you want to get out for us?
I wanted to bring back round to what we were talking about before, because I felt vegan children are excluded in schools.
Yeah.
I really do believe that, and I feel like as a teacher, I feel excluded myself and I can't really speak about it. What I'd like to do is make sure that children know that they've got the power to make a difference. So as a teacher who's been fired, possibly, I'm not saying I definitely was fired because I'm vegan, because that was never said. It was because they had too many staff. However, the year after, they hired over 20 members of staff, and I was qualified to teach all age ranges.
Weird.
It's looking a bit suspicious. What I would like to say is I can't speak up in schools. I can't say, hey, let's make an animal welfare club. However, if a child came to me and said, Miss, I'm a vegan, or I want to be a vegan and I really need some help, can you help me? You have just opened the doors for me. I can give you all the support and all the help and all the advice you need.
Are you listening, kids?
Yes, because you came to me. Something I think that is really important to say to the children is that you have so much power, you don't realise how much power you have. Let me just give you an example. I'm a teacher in a school. I can't talk about veganism. My hands are truly tied. However, if a child came to me, if you came to me and said, oh, miss, I really want to start an animal rights club, or I've heard about veganism, I don't really know what it is, can you help me? You have just opened a huge door for me. And this is for the parents as well. Encourage your children and let them know how much power they have. The children are told what to do all the time. They can't do this, they can't do that. However, something like this, they can, if it was their religion, if it was something they were interested in. Teachers really want to help their children and they want to learn what they're passionate about, whether it's football, dance, what they eat, where they go, anything. So you could really open a door with this. And if you came to me as a vegan, I can really take this away so that we can make it so that it's on a platform and the rest of the school could partake in it. We could have a vegan bake sale. We could do vegan hot dogs and a cinema night. There might be some more of that in that book that I'm about to do. That might feature there. So there's a lot that you can do. Please don't feel that there's nothing you can do. I know there's a lot of vegan children out there because I'm on Facebook and I have parents that reach out to me. I have teachers that reach out to me. Another teacher actually reached out to me recently that was dismissed because she spoke to her children about veganism. However, if they'd have spoken to her first and then she'd have done it, it would have been a completely different story because they started that process. So it's really important to know. I want to empower you. I want you to know that this is a teacher. I'm a teacher speaking now. So don't say, oh, my teachers will never listen to me. We will. And if you get a teacher that's rubbish and won't listen to you, well, they're a rubbish teacher. Go and find a decent one, okay? And then that way you can get your voice heard. And I know that you probably care about animals as much as I do. And you're really passionate about this too. And it probably really upsets you that you go to parties and they're all eating sausages made from pigs and things, and it probably does really bother you. But you're not alone. There's a lot of vegan children out there who are going through the same thing, and you can change this. You can change your school. There are vegan schools in New York. There's a vegan school in California. There's vegan schools everywhere. So just know that the power is with you.
I've had an absolute brilliant time talking to you.
It was so good to meet you.
And it's really been amazing to like listen to your story. Your story is absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And I really do hope, and I will help in any way whatsoever, to get this education to the young. It really is an important thing. And
I might hold you to that, Danny. Thank
you.
I'm
going to follow you. I'm going to watch your videos. Please produce more content for young kids.
Yeah.
I will keep testing it out on my granddaughter because I've done a pledge that I will get my granddaughter fully vegan by the age of 5. So I need your help on that one.
We need to work on our parents because we can't do that without the parental involvement. And sometimes they need to hear it from somebody else.
Listen,
so maybe we can help with that
the parents are tied up in a cellar, and I won't be letting them out until she's 5 anyway. So it's been a pleasure. I'm going to love you and leave you.
Oh, thank you.
And can I have a hug?
Of course, absolutely.
And keep up the good work.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Grumpy Greavy. Oh, damn!
Grumpy.
One more time.
Creepy vegan Grandad.
Creepy vegan Grandad signing out. I'll just walk out.
Nice.
Oh, my
now
God.
it's your time.
I was calling you
Come
vegan.
on. Ruth,
No, it's your time now.
Is this like... No, I thought we were
This is
chatting.
It's
Is
on
this
you
just
now.
me?
This is us you now. This is your appeal.
Don't film that. I
Imagine
can't
it's
swear. I'm a
you
teacher.
When you're talking directly.